Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. To me, this is a very clear sign of conflict of interest. To me, in this particular case, it seems like corruption, effectively. Like, how could it not be? So I reported on a story the other day, I don't know if it was maybe a couple days or so ago. All the days blur together, you know. All I know is that whatever day it is today, it ends with the letter Y. That's all I know for sure. But it reported that there's a serious conflict of interest with former SEC director Bill Hinman, who he's the one that determined, or at least publicly stated, that the SEC had come to the conclusion that Ether is not a security, which was interesting to me because the rationale for that lined up pretty well perfectly with XRP's position. So if Ether is not a security, why does the SEC state that XRP is? And so it goes further, though. While XRP has gotten the shaft, and so has Ripple recently, with the SEC having filed a suit initially December 22nd of last year, claiming that Ripple has sold unregistered securities, or XRP being the unregistered security, of course. The SEC director in question, Bill Hinman, received $15 million. He received $15 million from a firm that had connections to the Ethereum. What was the full name of it? Ethereum something Alliance. The full name escapes me. It doesn't matter. I'm going to pull it up in this video anyway. But he was getting paid while he was coming up with policy within the SEC having to do with what is and what isn't a security, in this case, just Ether. And so it's just funny that they've got this policy that had been in place where they'll talk about Bitcoin, but that's it, until somebody that had a conflict of interest, Bill Hinman, joined the SEC and then made this declaration and then left the SEC and went back to the company. You just wait. And there's a bit to break down here. I do want to be clear that I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about Ripple and XRP and asshats at the SEC. And it's a fun hobby. That is indeed all that it is, though. And so just to quickly catch everybody up to speed who may not have seen the video or heard the news from a couple days or so ago. And I promise I'll try and be brief on this portion here, because I know some of you are aware of this already, but I have to set the table or else people that are new are not going to know what the hell's going on. So here's an attorney, Arturo Portilla. He's self-described a Mexican tax and fintech lawyer. And he shared the following. This was a little clip from a filing of the SEC's from March 17th this year, 2021. And there's a little subheading here: relevant factual background. XRP is the digital token native to Ripple's blockchain, the XRP ledger, and can be freely transferred among blockchain users without the need for a central counterparty. Let's stop right there. Here's the reason that attorney Arthur, why am I saying Arthur? I really butchered that name. Let me back up. I'm a little tired, guys. Sorry. Attorney Arturo Portilla. The reason that he highlighted this is because they just cited right there, without the need for a central counterparty, which is at a minimum a tacit approval. I'd say it's a full-on approval, really, that or acknowledgement rather, that XRP doesn't have a central authority. There is no counterparty that runs this thing, which means that the XRP ledger is centralized. And so if they're acknowledging that, how the hell can XRP indeed be a security? XRP itself, how can it be a security? And so he saw that, and he's like, what? That does not make sense, which was everybody's reaction that has even half of a brain, because the logic simply doesn't follow if you know the way that the SEC's articulating that. And then he highlighted this. And this is a document written by Bill Hinman, former SEC Director of Division of Corporation Finance. So that's him right there on your screen. And this is from June 14th, 2018. Before I run through the pertinent portion of it, I want to share with you what attorney Arturo Portilla had to say on this. He wrote, "Here's the relevant abstract from Hinman's speech taken from the SEC site. Under these statements, how is it not a contradiction to say that XRP constitutes a security whilst also sustaining that the XRP ledger requires no central counterparty to operate. And so here's the relevant portion. And this is written again by Bill Hinman, formerly with the SEC. When he was with the SEC when he wrote this, though. And so when I look at Bitcoin today, I do not see a central third party whose efforts are a key determining factor in the enterprise. The network on which Bitcoin functions is operational and appears to have been decentralized for some time, perhaps from inception. Applying the disclosure regime of the federal securities laws to the offer and resale of Bitcoin would seem to add little value. In putting aside the fundraising that accompanied the creation of Ether, based on my understanding of the present state of Ether, the Ethereum network, and its decentralized structure, current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions. And, as with Bitcoin, applying the disclosure regime of the federal securities laws to current transactions in Ether would seem to add little value. Over time, there may be other sufficiently decentralized networks and systems where regulating the tokens or coins that function on them as securities may not be required. And of course, there will continue to be systems that rely on central actors whose efforts are a key to the success of the enterprise. In those cases, application of the securities laws protects the investors who purchase the tokens or coins. And so right there, how the hell could it not be the case that the people at the Ethereum Foundation, how could it not be the case that they are crucial to the long-term viability and adoption of Ether? How could that not be the case? Of course they are. Well, similarly, Ripple is important currently for what's happening with the XRP ecosystem and adoption of it. Now, they're not the only actor, so I'm not saying that I'm solely relying on Ripple to build stuff out. I just like that there's a ton of developers building on top of the XRP ledger, with Ripple being one of them. That's what I'm talking about, right? But still, like, it's such a similar position. How can you state that? And so this is where it gets ridiculous. And so there's this piece from valuewalk.com, and I'm just going to cover a piece of this so you guys can see just where the conflict of interest comes in, and then we'll get to the very latest on it. But check this out. They have a subheading, A Cautionary Tale of William Hinman. The case of William Hinman provides a cautionary tale. Hinman left one of the nation's top tech law firms in 2017 to take the helm at the Securities Exchange Commission's Corporation Finance Division, where he won accolades for introducing policies intended to protect investors in an industry regarded as a kind of Wild West. But from his perch, he also appears to have weighed in on issues involving the interests of his old firm. How about that? Conflict of interest much? His firm was Simpson, Thatcher, and Bartlett. That's a very lawyery sounding firm, so well done there with the 3 last names. I like that. Whose clients include some of the biggest players in the cryptocurrency marketplace and some with ties to China. Hinman's appointment has raised conflict of interest questions with some people in the industry. For starters, he received an annual pension from Simpson, Thatcher, and Bartlett that totaled about $1.6 million while at the SEC, vastly larger than his SEC salary. It's actually worse than that, so just wait. That's what was reported in the article. But it continues here. What's more, after stepping down from his SEC post late last year, Hinman returned to his previous employer, another example of a revolving door between government and private industry. And to be sure, there appears to be nothing illegal about taking his pension while at the SEC, but a former SEC ethics lawyer told Business Insider that the payments were a little unsettling. Yeah, no kidding. Tremendous conflict of interest. And so I'm not making any sort of claim that he did something illegal, just to be clear. I'm just saying, to me, this doesn't pass the smell test. I'm not saying it really anything more than that. Okay, fine. Technically, yes. I said conflict of interest. I said that it certainly to me looks like corruption. Like, if something's a conflict of interest and you're aware of the conflict of interest and you go forward with, like, is that not corrupt? I mean, to me, that sounds accurate. I'm just not making a claim that he did anything illegal. So, but to me, it just looks like it just doesn't pass the smell test, frankly. And so then you have pro XRP attorney John Deaton. He done found some stuff out. So take a look at what John Deaton had to say today. He wrote the following. I have obtained all publicly available information that I can on Hinman. He made $15 million from his firm while at the SEC. Did you guys hear that? He made $15 million from his firm while at the SEC. And again, his firm has an interest in Ethereum and Ether. $15 million. And here he is regulating on it. Was he not aware of the interest that his firm had in Ether and Ethereum? Did he not know that? That's a little bit hard to believe. That sounds a bit far-fetched. He's getting paid, and then he's regulating on Ethereum and Ether, which has a direct effect on the well-being of his firm that he left and then ultimately went back to work for after he left the SEC. $15 million. Holy hell. And I'm not saying that, I know it's a big number, I'm not saying it specifically because it's a big number. I mean, yeah, it certainly has, I think, an impact on most people. I'm not saying it because, look, I'm anti-class warfare stuff. That's not the reason that I'm bringing this up. I don't care if it's 10 cents. That's a conflict of interest. To get any amount of money from your firm, it's like you might as well be a lobbyist, except for you have actual power. Like it's like you're like a lobbyist on steroids, because you can actually not just go in and have to like try and change people's minds to get the legislation or policy that you want. You're just going straight in there and changing it because you've got the power to do so and you're getting paid. Like, that is a clear conflict of interest at the bare minimum. And so John continues. While Hinman was at the SEC and after he gave his Bitcoin and Ether speech, his firm represented Canon in its IPO. Canon is the second largest Chinese manufacturer of Bitcoin mining machinery. His law firm is a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. That's what it was. That's the name I couldn't remember earlier in the video. Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, or EEA for short. The EEA is a member-led industry organization whose objective is to drive the use of enterprise Ethereum and mainnet Ethereum blockchain technology as an open standard to empower all enterprises. Bill Hinman is back with his firm after accomplishing his goals at the SEC. Let's not forget that Clayton, Berger, and Hinman left the SEC after filing the most significant SEC action in modern history related to the most discussed topic in global finance today, digital assets. And so this is absolutely irrelevant, which is why when I was talking in my very last video, which you should check out if you've not, Bill Hinman, this is the reason that I was talking about him, the SEC currently, they're denying that the documents that they hold having to do with how Ethereum and Bitcoin, how they came to determine that those are not securities, they're claiming that's not relevant. What Hinman came up here with his conflict of interest while he's making $15 million, it's not relevant, they say. Well, the logical process that the conclusion you came to with ETH, which I don't even know that they would have otherwise come through, given there's a conflict of interest. I don't know that they would have come to this conclusion, but they sure as hell did. Makes me wonder if there's some skeletons in the closet. That's for damn sure. Is there something that would be uncovered about this conflict of interest in the documents that they're hiding now? Because they absolutely are. The SEC does not want the documents about Bitcoin and Ether and the decision-making process that went into deciding they're not securities. They don't want that to be discoverable in the SEC versus Ripple case. So why not? That's a pretty damn clear indication that there's something in there that's really relevant they don't want anyone to see. Makes me wonder what exactly is in there. But given that publicly what was stated lines up with XRP, what was publicly stated by Bill Hinman as far as their decision-making process with Ether, of course this is relevant. And so I'm just sitting here waiting to see what the hell happens here. But thankfully, the XRP community has a bunch of people that have been looking into this stuff, including John Deaton, so props to him, uncovering this stuff, because we would otherwise not know, right? In all likelihood. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.